Hi there, Spitfire here with Game Mode 5. Today we're going to be taking a look at Trine 2. Trine 2 is a massively popular side-scrolling platformer that really gets a lot of things right. We're going to take a look at the first level, the tutorial level, and we're going to walk through and show you what we do and don't like. And now, this is going to focus mostly on the story elements as well as the voice acting, because they really nailed this on this one, and you'll see what I mean.
Once upon a time, there were three valiant heroes, chosen by a magical artifact called the Trine. You may have heard another tale of how they met. Let me tell you a story of their latest adventure. Something mysterious and magical was taking place in the forest.
Like many other RPGs, it starts with an air of mystery. And it is that mystery that actually keeps us interested throughout. Go ahead, keep listening.
First of the three heroes was Amadeus, a wizard. Not perhaps the bravest or the most powerful, but he was clever and sensible. Then there was Pontius the knight, fearless protector of the realm, who loved good food, drink, and battle. Last but not least was Zoya, a thief.
An entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur. She was mysterious and only seen as a passing shadow on a cloudy night.
As you can see, the game actually uses pages from a novel or possibly spellbook to move the story along and to give the player information that they need in order to complete the game. This is a very nice touch, and also it helps bleed into the mythos or the story of the game.
Amadeus the Wizard was asleep in his cottage. It was a place where he could study his fireball spell, hidden from the scornful eye of his wife.
Turn it off. I'm sleeping here. What is it? Who's there?
The very familiar WASD controls are used to move the player back and forth. As you can see, one of the great things that I love about this game is the attention to detail. As you can see here, the light moves with the player. Going forward, we can actually see many particle effects and how beautiful it actually is. The player does receive hints in order to solve certain puzzles and to guide their movement. As you can see here, we are having a little bit of trouble with a bubble, and the only way to actually climb this particular ledge is with that bubble. Here we try to jump on, and again, the attention to detail, the physics, we actually affect the bubble.
Amadeus wondered if the bubble rising through the air was strong enough to carry him. There was only one way to find out.
And see, here we did receive an audible hint as to how to solve this particular puzzle. Alright, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and continue forward. Through the game, you actually do collect a few different things, and we'll explain that later.
Blocked, but this wouldn't stop the great wizard, Amadeus. With his magic, he could lift objects.
As you can see here, we do have a hint on screen telling us to right-click the mouse, and we do see that, again, the attention to detail. The player, or rather the character, does move with the animation. As you can see here, it seems like there's no way for us to actually get those items above.
Out of thin air.
And with that, we actually have the answer to how to solve the previous puzzle. Alright, let's try that again. And there we go, we solved that particular puzzle. So now we can go backwards with the information we now have One of the interesting things about this game is the way that physics play within the game world. As you can see here, in order to do this, I need to place a box in thin air and then jump on it before it falls. Timing and physics are very important when it comes to this, and as you can see, I missed an orb in the upper right hand corner that I could have gotten if I would have been a little bit more patient. Now, it's not imperative that we actually get that orb. However, there are players, like myself, who will not consider the game complete until they 100% it. So for the sake of completeness, we will go ahead and try to get that now. As you can see, there's a counter in the upper right hand corner counting how many of those particular items we got.
The light moved through the forest, leading Amadeus further. Torn between fear and wonder, he followed.
Alright, and this is actually a very interesting puzzle. I like this one. In order to advance, we actually have to place a box on the teeter-tottering log. This is also an interesting one. In order to get the item up top, we need to coordinate a way for us to jump up there. And as you can see, getting caught down below can sometimes be quite a pain. So for this, what we'll have to do is stand on the stalk and place the block right before we jump.
I demand to know what's happening. The Trine. Not this again. Huh? Pontius!
Amadeus, get your things! We need to save the kingdom!
What? Oh, this won't do at all, Pontius. I've children waiting for me to come home. I can't leave.
But your magics are needed. The kingdom is in danger.
Will this nightmare ever be over?
Despite his reluctance, Amadeus knew that the heroes were needed once more.
How did you end up here?
Let me tell you.
Pontius had headed out that evening, for there was trouble on the peasant farms. Creeping vines were taking over the fields.
A warlock must be behind this devilry. I'll find him and teach him a lesson with my sword. With luck, there'll be pumpkin pie for dinner tonight.
As you can see, each character gets their own game mechanics, and in turn their own style of play.
Pontius searched the farm, but saw no one there.
The nasties must have fled at the sight of me.
With each character having their own game mechanics, that means they also have their own play style, and their own ways of solving different puzzles. Some puzzles will be better solved with certain characters, which I think is a really nice touch and adds to gameplay and replayability.
Oh, that looks dangerous. Blasted weeds! I'll show you what for. I'm Pontius the Brave, and I won't fall in a battle with dandelions. The Trine!
Pontius had never understood what exactly the Trine did. But he knew that the artifact was there to help, and so Pontius felt happy. He couldn't think of a better quest than saving his kingdom. Late that night, Zoya was concealed in the shadows, hidden from the shimmering moonlight.
Right off the bat, Zoya seems to be a fun character to play because she's all about stealth, and she's also about rapid movement, which means that solving puzzles, even though one isn't necessarily rushed, you almost feel like you are.
Zoya passed through the town as quietly as a whisper.
I also like the physics, the movement of Zoya. Also that the game gives you a few different paths or options. See here, we have an option to go up top, but if we can't figure that one out, it actually gives us the option to go in the bridge underneath.
Then she saw a glimmering light moving on top of the old church.
This is another example of those things that we can collect but aren't necessarily needed to complete the game. And here we spend a moment trying to figure out how to get ourselves on the ledge to our left so that we can go ahead and get as many of these potions as possible.
The Trine. How inconvenient.
What are you doing here in the middle of the night? Not back to your old tricks and thievery.
Oh, there's a perfectly good explanation for this. Tell me, where are we going?
We don't really know yet. Something strange is going on.
A new venture. Shall we go then?
So the Trine had come for the heroes, and the adventure was ready to begin. Amadeus worried for his family, while Pontius looked forward to their new quest. Zoya, of course, imagined what fabulous treasure they might find.
Overall, so far, I believe that this game is going to have very strong elements as far as its animation, its storytelling, and its progression of the player from beginning to end. I have not yet played the original Trine, however, I am hoping that I can finish this one, and it will leave me hungry for the first one. I do believe that, from what they've given us so far, that it won't really have a lot to do with spoilers. Till next time, I'm Spitfire with Game Mode 5. Like, subscribe, comments please.